Welcome to Business Chats with Debbie, where we talk big stories from small business. I'm your host, Debbie Warburton, and I'm joined today by the beautiful Lisa Bailey-Brown, who I've known for quite a few years now. My first meeting with you, or first story about you, I met you at the YP, obviously, was when your dog set fire to your kitchen by putting the stove on just before Christmas.
Yeah.
And there was a big cry out for your kitchen was ruined and you needed help. So we all ploughed in and helped you with bits and pieces, and that is a resounding memory of you.
To be fair, it seems like I've followed a bit of a pattern because there's always been a bit of drama. Should have been an actress, I think.
The podcasts I've designed really are to find out about people, how COVID's affected them, how their lives have changed. Obviously, everyone's lives have changed over the last couple of years. And I know per se you don't really have your own business, but you've been in and out of so many different jobs over your lifetime, and that your life has changed and everything. You've had. I know we spoke earlier about whether or not we could mention mental health, but mental health has been a big issue through COVID, and it's becoming a bigger issue now. Is your own mental health struggles, your own mental health problems with your family, and coming through them. And to me, the picture I have of you is a cocoon. And you've been in this cocoon and you've had all your own battles, and now the cocoon's cracking and you're coming out as a beautiful butterfly. And you're actually emerging as yourself, and you've got all these new plans and all these new things that you're putting in place, and you're actually becoming the person that you were always meant to be. And I'd just like to hear a bit more about it, and encourage other people to do what they want to do in their life, not be stuck in a job that they don't want to do, and prove that you can do it. It is capable. You've just got to have the courage and the tenacity to reach out and get what you want to get out of your life. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, for me, it's funny that when you asked me to come on the podcast, obviously, I was like, oh my God, what do you want me to go on there for? What am I going to say? And I was trying to think of all the different things that you'd possibly want me to talk about. And I think the reality is that every single one of us, whether we own a business or we're employed, the whole COVID situation has undoubtedly affected all of us in many ways. And for me personally, I was explaining to you earlier, right back at the beginning of when Boris first said we were going to have this lockdown, he initially said, it'd be for 3 weeks. And I just knew that I had to tell myself it was going to be longer, because I thought that if I know what I'm like as a person, and I can be very, I suppose, spontaneous with lots of things and not want to plan stuff, but always in a working perspective, because I've always been employed, I've always wanted to make sure that I'm organised and have structure there. And so, although I've worked from home for many, many years, when you are told you're staying at home, it's different. Yeah, it's like, don't have the opportunity to go out. And you know me, I'm a hugger, I'm a people person, and to actually have that taken away from you, and you can only go out and exercise once a day. It's like, I don't exercise normally. Can I go and meet people instead? But I told myself that I wasn't going to be stepping outside and meeting people other than on Zoom until the summer. So, of course, that worked well for me, because then at that time I was furloughed from my job at Urban, which I'd worked for them for a long time. And I relocated to the southwest because of that job. And then I met Brock and obviously got involved with your partnerships and all that sort of thing. And so we were doing all the Zoom calls. I mean, to be fair, that was, thinking back now, that was tiring, doing like 4 of them every day. But we had fun, and we kept chatting with each other. And I think that was the thing. It was keeping...
It kept people sane. Those
yeah,
Zoom
exactly.
meetings kept people sane.
Because also, a lot of people during lockdown probably like fell out with their family. Because, I mean, you know, normally you're not all at home all the time. And then when you're all in the house together... And so it was kind of like, I'm going on a Zoom call. I'm going to go and speak to some different people. So in that sense, it was actually really, it was good fun. But then that ended, and I then obviously was, I suppose, for the last, I don't know, since I was a little kid, really, the mental health side of things that I've never really explained is the backstory. And my mum has ill mental health. So it wasn't something that I hadn't been used to. Yeah. Throughout my whole life, that has been going on. And then I found out that my dad's got struggles as well. It's just that was kept quiet. And then I married somebody who was not ill, but then became ill 2 years into the relationship. And obviously everybody who knows me knows that the whole borderline personality thing and all of that was like a massive, big deal for me. And work was my way to go somewhere to get away from it. It was my escapism. And so the sad thing was that obviously I'd gone through all of that, came back out, went networking, and then it was like, oh, it's COVID now. You know, you've had about 6 months to a year, maybe 9 months, maybe sort of getting out there, meeting people, and now we're going to put you back in the house again. So it was about me learning a lot of stuff, and I think that I know that I've always had something that I was meant to do. I didn't know what it was. When I was a kid, I used to think, oh, maybe I'm going to be famous. Maybe I'm going to do... But then I was too shy.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not... Despite what people might think, I'm not actually the most super confident person. I'm a lot more confident now. But that's because of people like you, Debbie. That's because people around you, they make a difference.
And you feed off other people as well, don't you?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I've learnt so much through the whole experience of COVID, because there's been more time. There's been more time to sit there and think about the things that you did before. Why did I do that? Why did I do that? Yeah. And why didn't I think this way? And you start to actually realise that there is more to life than just work.
Yeah.
We need work. We need to earn money. We need to earn a living.
But you've got to be happy.
You've got to be happy. Yeah. And I know that 90% of people are not happy in their jobs, and most of us have jobs where we're not happy, and that's life, and that happens. But there's only one person that can change all of that, and that's us. And it's about trying to find what you want in your life. So of course now I have got a day job, and my day job involves networking and meeting people again, and it's all around the same thing. If you look at my CV, every single job has been a serving role, whether I've been a receptionist, I've worked as a customer service representative, I've worked in a pub, you know, it literally has been serving in one way or the other.
Yeah.
But that's where I get my, I suppose, my drive and passion is people at the end of the day. Again, with me doing my podcast, it was... At the start, it was an idea because I thought, this will be good for me, because I like to learn and listen to other people. And then it became about the wider audience and other people listening. And people that are going to listen to this, they will hear things that will resonate and make them feel. And you never know who is listening. You never know who is in the room. It's like when you go networking. Yeah. You never ever know. And we were joking about this before, because obviously I did a bit of a ranty post this morning about customer service. And the fact is that, you know, nowadays we do have to be mindful of what we say, because we don't want to offend people. But at the same time, we should be allowed to say if we're not happy with something, but we don't have to be rude about it.
No.
And we don't have to be, I suppose, I'm trying to think of what the word is now. I think that a lot of my experience now with people is that they feel that they're entitled. They're entitled to have a job. They're entitled to have that house. They're entitled. None of us are entitled, you know.
You've got to work
You've got to work hard. And there's no such thing as not working hard. You know, we can have the millionaire dream, you know. I wrote a book and I haven't published it yet. And I keep thinking, maybe if I publish that, then maybe I'll be a millionaire. But at the same time, I'm not ready, because I know that, obviously I have said I'm going to publish it next year, but I wrote that in lockdown, and that was an accidental thing as well, because again, when you've got this time, you start going creative and doing stuff. But from a working perspective, for me, I think COVID has made me realise who I am and who I'm not, and what I'm capable of,
and what you want,
and what I want. And so, of course, for me, then I went off and started doing a lot of personal development stuff. Because I think, again, when you've got that time, because you're furloughed, and, you know, I know not everybody did. I mean, some people that were furloughed probably had little kids at home and they were struggling, so they maybe didn't. But from my experience, I didn't have that. So I did the personal development stuff, learned more about myself. And then because, as you said, which is funny because that analogy, I've used that myself, because I said I've almost been crawling along all my life like this caterpillar. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, from nowhere, I'm like, oh, you can have a little nap now. And COVID was my little nap. And actually, I've come out and I am exactly who I am meant to be. And I'm not going to apologise for being who I am.
No.
People who don't like me, who for some reason, you always get it, and I'm getting used to this now. I've got to get used to the fact that if you're out there and you're doing stuff, people are going to either love you or hate you. They're going to have an opinion. And it took me a long time to understand that I didn't have to like everybody, and they don't all have to like me.
No. Because
my tribe of people, my people, are going to be the ones that that are mine. They're for me. And likewise, they are mine, just like you. Good people with a good heart. And that's what it's all about. It's surrounding yourself with the right people that are going to uplift you, and you uplift them. And in turn, we'll all thrive and we'll all get on better.
And that's so important, just for you, not for your own personal well-being and your own personal mental health, but that's what you need to look at in business as well. You need to surround your people who you can work with. If you don't work, if you're not going to, it's like me when I've got prospects coming in, and you think, well, yes, I know I can work with this person, or no, I know I'm not going to be able to work with this person. There's got to be that connection there. There's got to be that click, and there's got to be that fit. Otherwise, it's not going to work.
Exactly.
So it's knowing who your right people are for you personally and for your business.
Yeah.
And it's the same analogy right across the board.
It is. Yeah.
And you can beat yourself up as many times as you want, saying, "Oh, I really wanted that person, but they didn't really like me." Well, they don't like me.
Yeah,
Tough.
exactly.
There's going to be plenty of other people out there who will like me, and because of that, my business will grow, and you will grow. Do you know what I mean? That's a whole. They've got to feed in together.
Well, for me, I have this whole thing of what I call naturally networking. So I like networking, but what I don't like about networking is the fact that, and it is getting better. But when I first started networking a long time ago, when I was like in my 20s, up country, it was very much. What do you do?
Yeah.
And it was literally, and I did a post in my group the other day about this, that, you become what you do and who you are in your family. So you normally go, well, I'm Lisa and I'm 45 and I work for such and such and I do this and I've got 3 kids, 3 grandkids, blah, blah, blah. And actually, that's not me. That's not me. And that doesn't give that person any information about me, apart from for them to then go, oh, they work at such and such, they're not for me, and walk off. That's not networking. No. Cherry picking people based on whether or not they're going to do any good for you is the completely wrong way. No. You should always be looking to help that person, because in turn they'll help you.
Yeah. Even if they don't help you directly, they'll recommend you.
Absolutely.
And they'll mention your name further afield, and that's where you get the connections from. There's you go network and you can see there's so many people who just expect it's the first networking meeting and they're going to get 3 new business contacts out of that, and it doesn't work like that. No. Especially down here. No. It's people buy from people, and they've got to know that person before they'll even trust them to talk about the business and what they need for the business. Yeah. And I was always brought up with from my parents was, you treat everybody the way you expect to be treated yourself. And that's my philosophy. That's the way that's what I've instilled in my own children. But I find that lacking nowadays. Is people are too quick to, no, don't need you, and move on without really getting to know you as a person.
Yeah, they just pass judgment, and I'm not, don't get me wrong, we can all be judgmental. So to say I'm not judgmental is a lie, because we can all go, oh, look at that dress they're wearing, I won't wear that. But there's a difference between thinking something and vocalising it. Yeah. And that's what I have a massive problem with, is that there are people out there that you can be networking with them and they could be stood with you, and you know full well that they've said something about you, and they will pretend. I ain't got time for pretending anymore. I think that the best way for me to do the best job for the other people that I want to serve is to maybe be a little bit more maverick. So I said to you, I watched the film last night, and obviously Tom Cruise in that film, he's very much like, yeah, he's got rules, but he doesn't stick by the rules, but he does a bloody good job. Now, just because everybody says, well, this is what we do. Well, I'm not here to do what everybody does. I want to do what I want to do, and I want to do it for the right reasons, for the right people. And now I've realised that it takes a film, doesn't it, to make you realise these things. COVID and a film. See, look, we've got to have more of these things. No, it's no more lockdowns. But it takes something to just get into your head, to trigger these thoughts that then make you see and realise that, what are we doing? We don't need to do that. And before I'd be like, oh, I really want to be connected to them. And then I get to meet them and realise they don't care. They're not bothered about connecting with me. But then it's amazing, isn't it? Then when all of a sudden other people do, and then they go, oh, I'd love to connect with you. And it's like, I remember. Yeah. I don't forget. I remember. But again, because I'm nice, I'll go, yeah, okay, let's connect. But I'm never going to forget. No. And I think that making sure we do the best that we can do for others will then mean that we have the best for us back in whatever way. It's like Shane Solomon. I cannot fault him because he
does so much for so many people.
He does, and he's a very giving man. And like when he came on my podcast, he's like, why am I sat here? And a bit like me, I'm like, this is strange, I'm on the other side. But again, he's just somebody who is genuinely doing things for good intentions. And actually, he will have a massive he's got loads of people supporting him because of what he does. Yeah. And I think we can learn a lot from people like Shane, because he genuinely is a nice guy. And you're a lovely woman as well, Debbie. I always say to people about, like, you sponsored me on the podcast and stuff, and it's like, you didn't have to do that. Same as when I had my house fire. It's like all these people raised all this money, and I was like, I didn't actually go on Facebook to get people to raise money. It was literally like, make sure you get insurance because I don't have any. And I was just like, again, for me, it never dawned on me that by doing that, because half of these people I didn't even know. I didn't know, I knew them, but not like proper. But again, I suppose that's the thing. If you are a good person and, you genuinely, as I said all along, you've just got to be loving, kind and authentic. And if you can be those three things, then everything else falls into place. And with me now doing this women's group, it's really interesting because they say to me, oh, I did my event, and they were like, Lisa, you're amazing, you're so confident. And on that day, I can hand on heart say, for the first time ever, I did feel confident. Yeah. But I also was in that moment, but it was the ladies that did it, because 50 women signed up to come to an event that I was running. They didn't actually really understand or know what was going to happen. Yeah. And they took a punt on me. So I could not stand there and be thinking, oh my God, I can't do this and all silly things. I was just in that moment. And again, I think when we do these things and we choose to, I suppose, think we're not good enough or we're not capable enough, we're just doing lots of people a disservice, because actually yourself, me, Shane, lots of us, we are capable of doing more for other people, but we can let ourselves down and stop ourselves. But again, I'm like a yo-yo, backwards and forwards, confidence levels, 1 minute I can be a 0, the next minute I can feel a 10. Yeah. And that's life. And again, it's about being honest with that. I'm not going to promise all the women in my group that all of a sudden you're going to be confident every single day forever and ever. It doesn't work like that. But it's surrounding yourself again with like-minded women that have the same thoughts and feelings, and that want to have fun, because you got to have some fun in your life. Yeah, if you spend too long working, you've got to enjoy what you do. Yeah, and it's getting that right work-life balance as well. I think that's what COVID also helped with, was that slow down process. Because I said for years before, I was like, I love all this technology, I'm always on the bloody phone with social media and stuff. But I was like, I think we're going too fast. We're going far too fast, and we need to stop. We need to slow down a bit. And I think that COVID kind of did that to us, because all of a sudden you would see all these families out, the husband, the wife, the two wives, the two husbands, whatever your family setup is. They were out with their dogs and they were doing stuff as a family. Ordinarily, it would be one or the other that was there with the kids, because the other one would be working away or doing whatever. And it just brought people together. And, sometimes that was quite funny, because we were supposed to be staying away from people, and then you go and there's just so many people because they were all there.
Yeah.
But again, it gave everybody a taste of what actually life is like when you're not, 24/7.
Why am I working 50, 60 hours a week when, do you know what I mean? I've got a family at home that need me as well.
Yeah.
So, it did put a lot of into perspective of work-life balance.
I think also the time side of things, because I know that I've heard from different people that, working from home, it's making everybody work from home, it's rubbish, you need them in the office. And as somebody that's always worked from home, I can manage myself anyway. I can do all of that. And to be fair, I'd probably better off working at home on my own, because if I was in an office, I'd just talk, because I'd have people there to chat with. And that's why I got a network, because then I can talk and chat and that sort of thing, and then come back and then do all the admin-y, boring stuff and have nobody around me. But some people can't work in that environment, and obviously they will mess about or whatever. And I understand that for an employer it's difficult, but a lot of places now are doing. Recently I was looking online, and there's jobs where there's start at 10 and finish at 4. And it says on there, we give you your birthday off. And they said, well, the reason why we do that is because we want you to be happy. While you're there, we want you to work solid. That 10 till 4, you're working. Don't think you're going to be there and swanning around. You're working 10 till 4. And actually, I think that's a good thing, because I don't know about you, but if I've got a particular project or something I'm doing, I'm focused on it and I will get it done. So, your time goes quicker, doesn't it? Yeah. Because when you're in that moment and that flow, it's gone. And then you're like, that's it, end of the day, 4 o'clock, brilliant. Yeah. I've got 5 hours before I need to go to bed, if you go to bed at 9. 6 if you're lucky. I think it's opened up a lot more opportunities, COVID has, than it has the negative side. Going through it at that time, it didn't feel that, and you couldn't see it. But being somebody, I'm a realist, I'm not optimistic, I'm not pessimistic. I am a realist. I see things as they are. On face value at that time doesn't mean it doesn't change for me. And at that time I felt very much like, this is awful. I want people. I used to joke about the fact that I was going to get into trouble because I just wanted to touch people, and they were like, touch people. I mean, I want to hug them.
That's what we are as human beings. We need the contact. We need the people around us. Yeah. So being told that you can't do it is like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Yeah. It's been absolutely beautiful and lovely chatting to you, but I think we need to draw it to a close.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much for being my guest today. It's been an absolute pleasure.
You're very welcome.
It's a bye from us, guys, and have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time on my business podcast.